part. All right, but 1 second, let me present the slide from last week. In the meantime, again, please remind your friends, especially your group mates, to come and join this morning's class. Okay. By the way, the group list has already been uploaded as well on LMS. Do take note of that. All right. Oh, this. All right. So just for a recap of our scenario, scenario 4 is data analysis scenario, whereby we are a team of data analysts in Grab's e-hailing department. Okay, so we're only looking at Grab, but only for its e-hailing services. If you remember the products that we're looking at as well, right? You're a team of data analysts in Grab's e-hailing department. Based on sales data, your manager has asked you to report performance by region in the past 2 years, recommendation for biggest opportunities for growth, and then present your recommendations to your head of department. And so your deliverable would be performance report with bright spots and hot spots on overall trends and specific regions, recommendations for growth for each region, along with recommended business actions, presentation for HOD. All right, so what will be graded? Preliminary data analysis, that is the individual assignment, worksheet and presentation deck, as well as the HOD presentation. Preliminary, this morning and what we have been doing since last week is working on our preliminary data analysis, which is the individual assignment. However, again, as I mentioned, in order to minimize mistake as well as to ensure continuation for the next assignment, it is highly recommended that we do this individual assignment in a group setting. All right. That means working it together in a breakout room where one person share the Excel sheet, the mother Excel sheet with all of the data that is already been provided, and all of the cleaned up data, all of the already tabulated data. All right. So that you guys can at least have a what is it a common point, a common point of reference, so that when eventually when you individually do the analysis, uh, it is based on a correct tabulation of data, right? Okay, using the correct Excel process. Because I understand some people in a group might not have necessarily strong skill set in Excel. So that's where the better equipped person in the group could come in and supplement with their knowledge and help each other out. All right. So there's that one. All right. So that is the one that we're gonna take a look at for this morning. And I think based on the progress that we have done last week, from my understanding and my observation, is that a lot of the groups remained still at the Excel functioning process, whereby you guys are still cleaning up and tabulating the data in order for you to see a trend first. And what I understand so far, there has yet to be a comprehensive understanding of the trend yet by each of the group, at least from what I remember last week. And so this morning's this morning's working session should be focused and dedicated on that, all right, on the analysis part. And then remember as well, all right, remember as well from the task here is that you are asked two things. First, the report performance. Second, recommendation. So that will be, included in your preliminary data analysis approach as well. And I will show you guys later what I meant by that. All right. So always remember that you are asked two tasks, and then within each of those two, not two tasks, I mean two like sets of instruction, and then within two sets of instruction, there are also further instruction in that. For example, in the report performance, right? The report performance here, as you can see, your deliverable in the performance report, in the performance report section, you need to have bright spots and hot spots. Okay, try to remember again what bright spots and hot spots are. Bright spots are spots with, for example, if you want to highlight growth, if you want to highlight like the best performance, the best performing product, for example, that is the bright spot. Okay, the bright spot is the opportunities part. The hot spots are the problematic part that needs help, right? That needs further attention. So you need to identify in your performance report. The performance report refers to the what is it? The performance, the data based on the performance for the sales of each region or the overall performance, which I will show you later. Uh, and in your analysis for that part, it should include hotspots and bright spots. Okay, the identification of hotspots and bright spots. And then in the second part of your preliminary data analysis should come the part of, for recommendation for growth. And then the recommendation for growth here is asked, you have been instructed to go region by region as well, and then put some recommended business actions that needs to be done. All right, this is where you still refer back to the data. Still, this is still a data analysis exercise, but at the same time, because it asks you to also recommend business actions, this is where you also get creative based on the data that you have and suggest the next way forward, basically. So that's this is just a summary for the preliminary data analysis, and you would understand how then the preliminary data analysis assignment would be really tremendous for the following assignments, the group assignments later, because all of this analysis will provide the points, the talking points for your presentation later. So if you mess it up at this part, unfortunately, your presentation would not be as comprehensive and it would jeopardize your grades as well in the following deliverables. So it's really important. Again, I cannot highlight and stress just how important it is for you guys to get this part right. Okay, let's just remember again from last week. Uh, all right, this is again the workflow of a data analyst. Uh, for this part of the deliverable for the preliminary data analysis, it's about understanding your data structure, and then come up with the analysis based on the purpose or the instruction that we have been given. So remember again, just now what I mentioned. And so our task here to understand the grab sales data provided and develop an analytical approach. All right. So this was last week. Last week again, individually, I asked you guys to look at and understand the grab sales data that was provided to you. Again, if you lost that data set, please re-download it again on LMS from last week's session. And as you read through last week, the data, I think we have done this all together. We have eventually sort of like created a mental image of what type of data that we want to highlight. For example, the performance, right? Remember from the data set, the performance by way of, we don't look at the, if you remember, right? I don't ask you to look at the number of transactions because eventually it all amounts to 2,000 transactions, right? I asked you guys to look at the performance by way of the financial performance. Okay, so remember the financial performance for each product and as well as each region. So you have like two sets of trends that you can see here and analyze later. So that was the mental note that we have done last week. Some of you guys have created a really, really nice tabulation based on that. Some have also proceeded with like the charting part where you guys can already see what is it, the trend, figure out if it's increasing, decreasing, going stagnant, and so on and so forth. And let's take a look at all right, so remember, all right, remember this as well. This was like the data that you guys have, the transaction code, quarter, type of service, amount, geography, and notes. Remember the transaction code is you do not have to worry. You don't have to worry about this. This is negligible part because that just as mentioned here, quantity of transaction doesn't matter. What matters is the amount, type of service, quarter, so that you guys can tabulate it against time, chart it against time, I mean, and then the geography as well. All right. So let's just do a little bit of a refresh about pointers, some pointers that needs to be included in your data analysis. So before you even begin with your data analysis, you need to understand how to make use of the data that you're already provided, and you can first clean this up on Excel. And this was what a lot of you guys left what we left off from last week. A lot of us were still at this step of pivot table and charts. But I believe today we can all together move towards the analysis part. And so, just a little bit of a rundown and a recap of the analysis. Please remember that when you construct an analysis, when you observe something and you want to basically make sense of a data, remember to use these common analysis techniques. First, to understand, please say it out loud, the trends. For example, if the graph is moving up, say that it's the trend is upwards. Like for example, sales have seen a boost or sales have seen an increase. Okay, use those kind of words. Or if let's say the graph is going down, then you would have to describe as sales, for example, in central region have gone downward from quarter three to quarter four, for example. All right. Please include that is the first key part where you identify the trend, and then you identify the percentages of change so that you get the idea of just how much change happens between 2 points in time. So for example, if you're comparing between 2022 until 2024, take a look at how much, for example, if the graph is steadily downward, for example, right? For example, if in Sabah Sarawak, grab's performance have gone steadily downward from 2025, from 2024 to 2020, from 2022 to 2024, then you need to describe how much of a change does that decrease happen. So for example, you can take 2022 numbers and 2024 and calculate the percentage differences. All right. So for example, again here in the slide, it says, like for example, if you want to say a number is increasing, you can say grew by how many percent over what time, for example, annually, or if you want to look at quarterly. It depends on you guys, really. That's why eventually at the end of the day, while all of us are referring to the same data set, the analysis that we can come up with will be vastly different between individual to individual. So that's why it's really important for you guys to work on this individually, but at the same time within the group setting, so that you guys can compare your analysis, so that you know if, let's say, your analysis perhaps is too shallow and you see your friend have a bit more in-depth analysis, then you need to start considering exploring what is it adding more analysis to your shallow analysis. Okay, by the way, so and then that's one trend, and then percentage of changes. Last but not least, proportions, because proportions also tells a lot of story within an analysis. For example, the number of sales in central region, right? The number of sales in central region has grown significantly by 50%. Uh, and 60% of that growth is actually contributed by only one single product, which is Grab Executive, for example. So it's really important for you to understand and highlight the proportion of one category, one like subcategory within the larger category of things. All right. So that eventually, when you do the recommendation part, you know what to focus on and what not to focus on. All right. So these are the analysis techniques that you need to repeat for every single data set that you have. All right. So once you already have the tables and the charts, once you have pointed out the trends, please include percentage as well as understand the proportion as well. All right. So once you understand all of this, create a sentence that makes sense, that basically describe what data you're actually specifically looking at, and then that proper analysis will form as one bullet point. And then the second bullet point could be, for example, you want to look at for example, let's say you because remember the first analysis is to analyze the overall performance of the scenario, right? Remember the first analysis is to analyze the overall performance of I'm sorry, I was disconnected there. One second, let me reshare the screen. So what I was saying is, oh, it's not the right screen. So what I was saying is once you, in your for example your first analysis is to analyze the overall performance uh, the Grab of the Grab as a company, right? In your first analysis would be from 2022 to 2024, Grab's overall performance has seen an increase in sales as much as 24%. Uh, within this increase, significantly, the central region has been the largest contributor. For example, seeing an overall increase of up seeing an overall increase in performance of up to 70%, for example, right? That is, you already use all of it: trends, percentage of change, and proportion in that one statement alone, right? That is to assess the overall performance. What about if you want to assess the overall performance but you want to focus it on products instead? So for example, overall the best performing product has been Grab Executive, for example. From 2022 to 2024, Grab Executive sales has seen an increase of up to 70%. And Within the Grab Executive sales, we can see that the East Coast, for example, right? The East Coast region is the largest market for Grab Executive, for example. All right. So each of those analysis, each layer, whenever you want to come up with a new analysis, a new analytical point, you need to use all three of these common analysis techniques, lah. All right. So please remember and please refer to this slide as you are, working on your analysis. And then last but not least, for this specific scenario, all right, you need to understand the trend. Just now we already discussed how to do the analysis on the trend. What is driving these trends, right? This is also the level one and level two analysis here is actually basically a summary of like the methods just now, the three common methods just now. For example, level one, the trend is Grab Central has seen growth of up the highest growth of up to 30% in between 2022 and 2024, for example. And then when you eventually add embellishment to that, as in like add another layer of analysis to that, is Grab Central growth is due to strong momentum of Grab Executive. This is the proportion part, remember, right? So level one and level two is about utilizing the three methods basically. And then once you take your analysis a step further, this is for your second part of your preliminary analysis, which is the recommendation. Remember the business recommendation part. So then once you identify, for example, Grab Central growth is 30%. Uh, this is because the strong momentum of Grab Executive performance in Grab Central. So as such, the third level analysis would be Grab Central should invest in Grab Executive momentum. All right. So that is the chain of the layer of thinking and analysis that you guys have to do and is expected from you for this assignment. All right. So I will show you guys an example of how I want you guys to compile all of this. Because from last week, I think I remember asking you guys, if let's say you have already done the analysis since last week, please compile it into like just Google Sheets, for example, or Google Docs, for example, in point form. All right. But I remember last week a lot of us were still, focused on again tabulating the data as well as charting the data. All right. So as such, if let's say for today, I want us to just right away use a format already because we no longer have the time to like draft everything one by one. So that okay, we can also cut time here. That's why also I hope that the groups here are intact, as in like you guys have uh for this morning session, enough group members are in so that you guys can like bounce off ideas with each other, so that you guys can just like uh, right away figure out like the trends, the analysis, and everything together for your individual assignment. All right. Still, again, at the end of the day, the compilation of it will depend, will be done individually, but the data sharing, the data analysis, the Excel, please do it all together. In fact, the data analysis, as you list it out, you can just bounce back ideas. Oh, actually, if you can see, let's try to focus on Grab Central, for example, right? You can do the bouncing back of ideas to save time. For example, in the group, let's say there are four people. One people look at the analysis of Grab Central and then they share to the rest of the group. Oh, actually, this is what I found for Grab Central. And then another person do on Grab East Coast, for example. Oh, this is actually the trend from East Coast. I figure out the hot spot as well as the bright spot. These are this. So you share it together, but the compilation of everything is done individually. All right. And how do you compile? I will share you guys. I will share how I would recommend the compilation. For compilation, you guys can truly be creative, by the way. And so I think that kind of hints what type of compilation way that I want you guys to do this. Please utilize Canva for this. Okay. So let me share a little bit about what I prepared to basically show what is expected from you guys. Also, take note. What I'm sharing here, I will also share the rubric as well for the grading. So please remember what to include, what to focus on including lah. All right. So one second, let me share my screen. All right. So again, remember for this assignment, it's called the preliminary data analysis. Yeah. Preliminary data analysis. So just have a title page like this is fine. You can do whatever you want with your title page. This is a presentation format, by the way, on Canva. Um, all right. Preliminary data analysis. This is the title page. And then remember, you guys have two tasks. Okay. One is the performance report, and the other one is growth recommendations. So make sure that you have both parts. If let's say you miss one or the other, it will jeopardize your grade. All right, remember that. So let's go one by one. Performance report. What is asked during in performance report? I want to see overall trends. Overall trends is the big picture part. All right, is the big picture part, and then regional trends. You go region by region. Central region, what are the bright spots? What are the hot spots? South, Sabah, Sarawak, East Coast. All right. Identify for performance report. Identify bright spots and hot spots. Okay, be it in overall trends or the regional trends. All right. So remember that. And if let's say you have done all of this, automatically you would have like three or more analysis, right? Three or more analysis is what you need to get a good to get like a good range of grade for this assignment actually. So if let's say by the way, if you have all of this already, automatically you would have the analysis as well, right, for each part. So automatically you would have more than three analytical points made here. But what I really want you guys to do is to identify bright spot and hot spots for each, and make sure you have like at least two for each. Okay, so so that it's balanced. All right. so that you guys can like strive for like the excellent grades lah for this one. And I think it's an easy ask. I'm not asking for the moon here. I don't think I'm asking for the impossible here. For example, overall trend here, you can like right away say overall steady and strong growth revenue for Grab between 2022 to 2024, for example, by how many percent, with what product being the most, or with what region being the most, for example. Uh, Strong growth bolstered by great performance in region Central, which for example, noted like 300% of increase, for example, something like that. And then the hotspots, you can like maybe give one or two problematic part, for example. For example, there has been a revenue drop in East Coast, for example. Okay. By the way, this is the performance report. Yeah, this is not where you give the analysis, and not the this is not where you give the recommendation yet. All right, this is the performance report. Again, for the performance report, also two parts: overall trends and regional trends. And then within the overall trends and regional trends, I want to see bright spots and hot spots. Okay, for each one. All right, this regional trends: Central, South, Sabah, Sarawak, and East Coast. And then for each slide, okay, how no matter how you do it, I want to see as well the charts, okay, as proof for your claim. All right, for whatever statement you are highlighting, provide the relevant chart. All right. So, for example, if you are talking about the overall growth, show the data and show the chart of overall growth. Do not show like only like the central part, because I will also check. Okay. So do that. So for example, here is central, right? So then the chart here should only show the central growth lah. All right. And so on and so forth. All right. And it can be in the same slide. It can be, for example, if you want to add a blank slide, right, in between, and then put your table in the blank slide, put your chart in the blank slide, also can. All right. Where is it? No. All right. Anyway. Okay. So then the second part will be growth recommendations. All right. For growth recommendations, again, it's also twofold. Uh, One is regional recommendation, one is product recommendation. Because when you're developing business growth recommendation, you can take a look at how, whether do you want to grow a geographical area as well as grow a certain product of Grab, right? Okay, so for regional recommendations, as such, I would hope that based on your analysis in the performance section earlier, for each region, you already done the performance, right, for each region. So recommend the appropriate measure. For example, if let's say the central region, for example, the central region in your analysis shows that a majority of the user in the central region is actually comprised of Grab executive. All right. So your recommendation is for you guys to ride this momentum. Okay, ride the momentum and do more marketing for luxury car rides, so that we can ensure that the proportion of users using Grab Executive increases over time. For example, okay, that is up to you guys. Whatever business recommendation, this is the creative part lah, but be creative based on the analysis that you have already done in the first part earlier. All right. So this is the regional recommendation part. And then secondly, the product recommendation. So for Grab Executive, what should be done here, yeah, and so on and so forth. So again, because automatically when you already have these two parts, you would already have more than two recommendations, which is the minimal amount of recommendations for you guys to get a passing point for this particular assignment. All right. Again, remember it's the minimum one. Yeah, it's not. There's no maximum here. But again, when you do the minimal part, then you get the minimal passable grade as well. Lah. All right. So please remember that in mind as well. So I truly hope, although the threshold, for example, right, for this I want 3 analysis, and then for the second part I want 2 analysis. Although it's a bit low, the threshold, but again, because again, remember how this will be used for your presentations as well next for the next assignment. Please be thorough and please be particular and comprehensive lah. I don't want like just because you already have 3, then you don't do it. All right. By the way, when I said three, it's not like three for each style. It's three for the overall. So truly, I'm not asking too much here. All right. For example, in the performance report part, when I say three analysis, it truly means that three analysis from overall trends, regional trends all together, not like for each slide here. Okay. So you can like again just do like two here or two here, two here. That's also fine. As long as you don't give less than three. But again, as I told you guys, if you follow this format, automatically you would have to fill each slide with information, right? In analysis. So automatically you would have by default more than three. So this is actually the why I created this template is for you guys. It's a fail proof what basically a fail proof template lah. If you follow this template to the T, then uh fortunately, hopefully, you guys won't miss like any important analysis, so that your grades are not affected. Okay, but please again be comprehensive with your analysis. Make sure you have already identified like the maximum amount of points of analysis that you can do, and then just choose which one you want to portray in your uh, preliminary data analysis document here. All right. So before we start the working group, the working session, unfortunately, I see I've taken a lot of time to discuss, but I truly think it's really important. Before we move to the breakout room, may I ask if you guys have any question? Any question on this assignment so far? Because it's truly a complicated assignment, and I understand if you guys might, be a bit behind on this. Any question? I also expect you guys to explain to your friends at least within your group as well, okay? Because from what I see this morning, not every one of us is here, right? There are some of us who are still not here. So when they eventually join in, all right, because eventually you guys have to do the group assignment together, the individual assignment depends, the group assignment depends on the individual assignment and analysis that you do in this assignment, right? So please, I expect for all of you guys to understand properly at least the idea of what you need to do for the individual part, so that you can also explain to your friend joining in later, okay, so that they're not left behind. All right, because again, that's the teamwork aspect as well for your assessment, right? So you will be graded on that also lah. All right, if let's say you need help, not like you cannot ask me, all right, please, by all means, you can just ask me to join your breakout room and I'll help, further break it down to you. But I expect to, if let's say some of your friends joining in later, I expect you guys to at least know what to explain to them as well, right? Because I think from scenario 3, one of the biggest lesson and takeaway from scenario 3 is because of how fast paced and complicated the assignments are between each weeks. Some of your friends who missed one of the weeks, for example, it's a bit hard for them to catch up, and it's really disheartening to see that every single classes, every time there's new classes, they would have to take a significant amount of time to catch up, because uh, eh, because and then when they are trying to catch up, they're losing on what we are learning that week. So eventually it's just a continuous feed of like catching up, so it's not productive for them as well. All right, so please be mindful, and please be cooperative as well to all of your friends. All right, with that being said, again, I'm opening any question from you guys so far regarding this particular assignment. Remember, we're only focusing on this first one first, preliminary data analysis part first. This is the individual assignment. All right. So again, the Excel, the everything else, the points and everything you can share with each other. But eventually, when you guys submit, I want you guys each to submit an individual one. So I expect a different document lah from each one. It's not like this is for example, right? This is a Canva link, right? I can just share a Canva link to all of you, and you guys can just collaborate together. I don't want it like that. I want everyone to have their own Canva document where they can highlight their own analysis. But again, the discussion part, the data tabulation part, and everything can be a group work between you guys in the breakout room. All right. But the compilation of it has to be individual. Are you guys clear on that? Do you need any more? Do you need any more clarifications? Again, if you when you start working, you find some trouble. That is only usually that is how the way you guys work as well. When you guys start working on the stuff, you guys encounter some troubles, and then if you have troubles while you are working on this, do not hesitate to just chime me in the group or anything, to come and see you in your breakout room. Okay, I'll be happy to assist. All right. So with that being said, I assume that there's no problem on that part. At least for the what is it, foundational understanding of what's going on. So let's move to before we go into the breakout room, let me just like start with today's slide, which is just like the instruction for today, and then we can go into the breakout room. So 1 second, yeah. Okay, so this is the second part for the working assignment from last week, right? A recap, we've already done that. Okay, this is the scenario again. If you want to look up and just refer for your personal use, you can also refer to this on LMS. 1 second. All right. Okay, so for this working session, what we expect you guys to do is that we can start the analysis already. All right. See, analyze the data using the right tools and then interpret the results and glean insights. All right. So our task today is to finish the data analysis and come up with a comprehensive list of insights to be used in the presentation later. Okay. So that's why it's really important for us to work on this together. All right. So our task is we will move into a separate breakout room later and continue working on the data analysis that we have worked on since last week. The thing about that is, what I want to do when I enter each breakout room later, I expect to see the data analysis from last week lah. All right. So you can just have one person presenting the Excel sheets. If let's say your group has not done tremendous still are struggling from last week, then that's fine. Please catch up on your analysis, but please make it fast. All right. Uh, I think last week we also have seen an example of a good data analysis. I think it was Terence's group, right? We saw how Terence's Excel sheet looks like, and what can be expected from you guys based on that lah. That is basically what a comprehensive data analysis by way of tabulating them and charting them would look like. Okay, so if again you have any trouble with the Excel part, don't worry, you can reach out to me as well on what type of info, for example, you need to highlight. Perhaps some of you are still struggling with that, but I think from last week's assessment and observation, I think most of the group has at least already started on the data tabulation and charting part. Okay, it's now the analysis part. So for those group who are already satisfied with your again data analysis, you guys can proceed with starting to list out the trends and everything as well. Again, you can divide the work between each of you. No worries, please divide the work. I think because we don't have much time as well, divide the work between each of you so that the workload is more manageable within the time frame that we have. All right, and then after the breakout room, I expect for all of us to do the like just a brief presentation of the analysis that we have done. All right. So okay. All right. So perhaps before I send you off to like your respective breakout rooms and groups, anyone have like any problem from last week? What I meant by that is, for example, for last week's task, which is the data analysis part, right? You guys are still there and stuck there, and you guys have not yet figured out the pivot table part and the chart part. Do let me know as soon as possible so that I could troubleshoot it quickly. So we could troubleshoot it quickly together. Okay. All right. If let's say there's no problem, then I have to assume that everyone is okay, and I expect a proper data analysis by the end of this working session. All right. The In the meantime, let me set up the breakout rooms. Uh, by the way, let me ask you guys, what do you guys need from me for this assignment? Do you guys need for me to share the template just now? Do you guys need me to share the template just now as well?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Okay. So I will be sharing the template just now. But again, be mindful that it's just a template. Yeah, I don't put any information or anything there, so it's not a cheat sheet or anything lah. So you still need to come up with your own analysis by that, what I mean. All right. So the template is just to ensure that you fulfill each part of the instruction. Okay. So I will be sharing the template shortly, but you can also refer to, all right, what you can refer to online, not online, on LMS. uh there's also a template for the working task that we've been working on since last week, but it's a shorter one lah. My version is just like the comprehensive one. Uh, 1 second. Let me refer to your what is it? Your groups. You have 5 groups from last week. Okay, I'll go group by group. Yeah, I'll just check in uh the attendance as well here. I need to the group that I'm call out. Please, see who your member who's absent from your members, and then notify them. Kindly notify them as well. If they can join for this morning, please make them join. All right, don't make them miss this class. All right. So for group one is Awanku, Inish, Kishan, and Amshar. From what I see here, I think Kishan is not in the list. So in the room right now, there will be Awanku, Inish, and Amshar. Okay. So you guys, 3 of you guys can start working on it, but please at the same time, coordinate with Kishan as well. Yeah. Okay. For group two, Firdaus is not here. Putri, okay, Putri is here. Jayantan, uh, Shasidar is not here. And Azri. All right, so the 3 of you again, 3 of you. So Jayantan, Azri, and Putri. Please coordinate with your group members. As well as you guys, between the 3 of you, you guys can also start already. All right, so please do that simultaneously. So for group three, okay, Daniel Zikri is not here yet. Okay, Ezel, Terence, and okay, Demil is not here yet. So now it's Ezel and Terence. So the two of you guys can start working, but please coordinate with Daniel and Demil as well later. All right. If the best one would be if they can, you can notify and they can join in now lah. But if let's say they are unable to join in now, then please coordinate to later. For group 4, Daniel Hakim is here. Safina is here. Vadivalagan is here. Kevin is here. Okay, Hazik is not here. And okay, so please coordinate with so Daniel, Hakim, Kevin, Safina, and Vadival again. Please coordinate with Haziq later, yeah. And last but not least, for group 5, only Karen and Azik are here. So Amrul, Afiq, Iskanda, and Kumares is not here yet. So the two of you again can start already, but uh, if you need, but please coordinate with the other 3 members. Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna open all of the rooms now, and you guys can start working on it. But please be reminded that I think it's now 9, right? Let's see first what happens at 10 a.m. If I'm happy with the progress by 10 a.m., then we can just reconvene back to the main room. But if let's say we need more time, then we can extend. No worries, okay? All right. So please enter your respective room and please start now. All right.
சரிக்கு சொல்லிட்டே இருங்க டாய்லெட் போட்டு வந்துடுறேன்.
ம்ஹ்ம்.
என்ன செய்யணும்னா சொல்லுங்கண்ணே. அப்புறம் பாயிண்ட்ஸ் தெரியுது ஃபோனில் முடிஞ்ச அளவுக்கு.
எப்புட்றா நீ எக்ஸல் வச்சிருக்க ஃபோன்ல?
அதான் சொல்கிறேன், லேப்டாப்பில் அதான் பிரச்சனையே இருக்கு இப்போ. நான் வேணா ஹாய்கல்கிட்ட சொல்லிட்டேன் இல்லை லேப்டாப் இல்லைன்னு.
எதுக்கும் சொல்லிரு.
ம்
அடுத்த
சரிங்க.
டக்கு ஷேர் ஸ்க்ரீன்.
இருங்க.
சஃபீனா. Hello. Macam mana? Dang. Ready?
சொல்லுங்க.
அவர் சொன்ன வச்சு கேட்டியா?
இல்லையே, இல்லை சத்தியமா இல்லை.
சரி. Aku tanya member aku, dia kata kena buat macam yang Aikal share dekat group.
Okay, Vinay.
Mhm.
I already informed Haikal already. So, ஏதாச்சும் ஹெல்ப் பண்ண அனுப்புங்க. நான் அதுக்குள்ள கொஞ்சம் டாய்லெட் போயிட்டு வந்துடுறேன்.
Okay.
Hi guys.
Hello.
How are you guys working on the from last week? The task from last week?
So just to recall, kita kena buat macam satu presentation. So where we just to make sure that we update the performance report and then the in the performance report overall trend and the digital trends and then
Mm.
our recommendation, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But
So
it's not necessarily a presentation because you're not presenting this one, you're just submitting this part. The presentation will be different later. Well, we'll take a look at the proper presentation in the second half of today's class in the afternoon session. But for now, what I want to see from each of you guys, perhaps please, maybe one of you could share your screen and let me see the progress from last week. Or if let's say you cannot share your screen at the moment, I believe Mariwalagan and Kevin couldn't share the screen at the moment, right? Kevin, you're joining from your phone, right?
yes.
Yeah, okay. So if let's say you're unable to share your screen, I just want to know what is your progress report from last week? What is your where did you guys left off from last week?
As per Aika last week, I did the total 3 of pivot chart.
Okay, so
So
you've already done the pivot chart, the table, and all of it.
uh,
So are you happy with the analysis and you can move forward with the written part?
yes, correct.
Okay, so please again make sure that all of your friends are aware of this as well. Yeah, please just I hope that each group can have like just one Excel of reference. Although everyone can work on it individually, the Excel part, but just have one for reference to save time as well. All right, so that you guys and also to ensure that none of you guys uh have the wrong numbers or data or anything. Okay, if that's all clear, then if you guys have any further question, just feel free to ping me and I'll be back in this group. And in the meantime, please coordinate with your friends who are not here who are not here yet. Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
okay.
All right. Sure. Great. Great.